Para la lección de hoy, he reunido 21 palabras en inglés que son difíciles para los hablantes no nativos, especialmente para los hispanohablantes. Hoy no vamos a ver palabras poco usadas como incomprehensibilities, no. Para ser lo más útil posible, estas palabras serán comunes y son palabras que podrías estar pronunciando mal en conversaciones reales, en el trabajo, en la escuela y en casa. Y para hacerlo más interesante, las palabras están divididas en 4 secciones. Section 1, tricky words. These are words that you mispronounce for a reason. They have a silent letter or a hidden sound or multiple correct pronunciations. Section 2, sound like bad words. These are words that if you mispronounce, it might sound like a groseria and offend someone. Section 3, words that sound totally different from how they look. In Spanish, words are always pronounced how they look, but that's not true in English. So I'm going to show you some important words that even native speakers couldn't pronounce correctly if they hadn't seen them before. Finally, section 4, words that are hard for Spanish native speakers. All of these words really are hard for Spanish native speakers, but this is a special section with words that are not especially hard for most English learners, but are commonly mispronounced by Spanish native speakers. And we're going to talk about why you might make these mistakes and how to avoid them. All right, let's get started with tricky words. For each of these words, there's some weird thing about it that makes it hard to pronounce. The secret is, once you know that thing, they become very easy to pronounce. So I'm going to teach you if they have a silent letter or a hidden sound or multiple correct pronunciations. Pronunciation. That's a great example of a tricky word. It's pronunciation, not pronunciation. This is a totally understandable mistake because we have the word pronounce. So it's natural to want to say pronounce, pronunciation, but it's pronunciation, none, pronunciation. To help you remember, here's a none helping you learn pronunciation. Number 2, popular. I very often hear learners say popular, and that's what it looks like, but there's a hidden Y sound between the P and the U. So it's not popular, but popular. Pia. Try that sound with me. Pia. Pia. Popular. This hidden Y happens in many common words. I'm going to do a full video on it soon. So if you don't want to miss that, please like and subscribe. Number 3, education. Education. Spanish native speakers almost always pronounce this education, but it's education. The D is actually pronounced like a J, so I like to call this the hidden J sound. It can take some practice to get right, so try it with me. Education. J. J. Education. It affects all forms of the word, so it's not only education, but also educate, educator, educated, all have the J sound. And there aren't as many hidden J words as hidden Y, but here are a few important ones. Individual, graduate, schedule. Y hay muchas palabras así. ¿Cómo sabes si las estás diciendo mal? Déjame mostrarte. Education. ¿Viste eso? Incluso después de años estudiando inglés, muchos siguen pronunciando mal palabras comunes como education. Es solo uno de cientos de detalles que hacen única la pronunciación del inglés. Education. Por eso, desarrollé un AI que te ayuda a hablar con mayor claridad sin necesidad de pagar lecciones costosas con un profesor privado. Practica con el AI y accede a más de 25 lecciones gratuitas en pronuncia.ai. Number 4. So I know this word looks like interesting. It has those 2 E's in there. Why else would we have them if we weren't going to use them? But we don't say interesting. Almost all Americans say interesting. Interesting, dropping that first E. Occasionally, you'll hear people pronounce it interesting instead without the T, but the most common pronunciation by far is interesting. Listen.
I think the more interesting question is,
when I say it, they go, wow, is that interesting?
And then interesting stuff because you can't make it.
Number 5, refrigerator. Refrigerator. It's just tricky. It's a long word. It's got a lot of R's and sounds with a J in the middle, and it just takes practice. A good trick for long, hard words like this is to start at the end and build up backwards. Der, der, raider, raider, gerator, gerator, frigerator, frigerator, refrigerator, refrigerator. There is an easier way though. In informal settings, we usually just say fridge. Here's a few examples. He opened the fridge to grab some milk. She put the eggs back in the fridge. That's it for tricky words. Now it's time for some fun. Well, fun for me, but scary for you, because the next section is words that are similar to bad words, cuss words, curse words, as we say. All those are just different ways of saying groseria, palabrota. These words can be super intimidating because if you mispronounce them, you end up with offensive words. I don't want you to avoid these words or be afraid to say them. I want you to learn the secrets to pronouncing them correctly so you can say them right without fear. So here we go. Number 6, beach. This is the most infamous one because it's so common, and if you mispronounce it, it'll sound like bitch. The key is the difference between the I vowel and the E vowel in English. And I know those are so similar for Spanish native speakers, and it's going to take you time to master it. But the number one thing you can do, that you can do right now to pronounce this word correctly, is to make the vowel in beach a little bit longer. Just stretch it out. So say with me, beach. Not beach, but beach. If you let that stretch out and be a little bit longer, it's going to sound to American ears like the word you're trying to say, beach, and not that other word. Okay, so practice these risky sentences with me. I love that beach. I love that beach. That beach is dirty. That beach is dirty. What a beautiful beach. What a beautiful beach. Number 7, sheet. This word, sheet, if mispronounced, sounds like shit. It's just like beach and bitch. The key to saying it right is that E vowel. Remember to make it longer. Sheet, sheet. Not sheet, but sheet. Now practice with me. Pass me that sheet. Pass me that sheet. He took a sheet. He took a sheet. Number 8, piece. Now, if you're scared to say, I need a sheet of paper, you might instead say, I need a piece of paper. But the word piece can also be tricky. In fact, it's the same problem as the last two, as beach and sheet. If you say it incorrectly, piece will sound like piss. So stretch out the E vowel again and make sure it sounds like peace. Peace. Number 9, crab. Crab is delicious. I love eating crab when I can afford it. But you know what's not delicious? Crap. So when you want to ask for some crab, you don't want to accidentally say crap. And if you notice, Americans don't always fully pronounce B and P at the end of words. Crab. So how can you correctly pronounce the difference between these two words and avoid telling people that you like to eat crap? The key again is in the vowel. Now, this time, the vowel is the same between both words. There's no difference, but the only difference is the length of the vowel. So when you want to say crab, make the vowel longer. Crab. And when you want to say crap, make that vowel very short. Crap. It's the same vowel, just the length changes. Crab, crap. A ver, ¿puedes siquiera escuchar la diferencia entre estas dos palabras? Crab y crap. Si no puedes escuchar la diferencia, va a ser muy frustrante intentar pronunciarla. Por eso, cree ejercicios especiales que entrenan tu oído para escuchar como un nativo antes de dominar la pronunciación. Prueba estos ejercicios y más de 25 lecciones gratuitas en mi página pronuncia.ai. All right, you made it to number 10. Now focus. If you're not careful, this can end up sounding like fuck us, which is not something we would normally say in English, but because of the F word, that can still be offensive. The key is this O sound. Focus. O. Fo. Focus. Your lips should round a little bit. Focus. And that'll make it sound different than fuck us. Focus. So that's the end of the offensive word section. And now we're moving on to a really fun section. Don't sound how they look. This section is words that look one way but are pronounced completely differently. They make English learners hate English and native speakers laugh because we generally don't realize how insane English is until you tell us. Number 11, comfortable. I know it looks like comfortable, but it's comfortable. So if we start with this word, comfort, that's easy enough. But once we add in a bull, it doesn't become comfortable, just comfortable. We just skip that vowel and go right from the F to the T. Comfortable. Comfort, comfortable. Comfort, comfortable. Now, another really common, more casual way to say it is comfy. So some examples of that are saying like, I want a warm, comfy blanket. Your couch is so comfy. The case we wouldn't use this is talking about, he makes me feel really comfortable. If you're talking about a person, comfy is more about a physical sensation, a bed, a couch, a blanket. But if it's the way a person makes you feel comfortable or uncomfortable, we'd never say he makes me feel comfy around him. Also, don't forget to practice uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. Uncomfy exists, but it's way less common. I don't think I've ever used it. So stick with uncomfortable and practice those two. Number 12, mayonnaise. Blame the French for this one. It has a bunch of extra letters, and it's easier if we just chop them out. So instead of looking at it like mayonnaise, it's mayonnaise. Mayonnaise. And just like comfortable, this has a short form. We say mayo. Mayo. Notice the first vowel is different. Mayo, mayonnaise. Mayo, mayonnaise. Good. So next up, I don't know who to blame for this one, but the letters are all out of order. Iron? No, it's iron. Iron. Practice these sentences with me. I need to iron my shirt. You should eat more iron. Number 14. Okay, this word is not super common, but the difference between how it looks and how it sounds is so crazy, I couldn't leave it out. In Spanish, this word is coronel, and in English, it's closer to that, but even shorter. It becomes colonel. Colonel. I'm from Kentucky, and we are famous for pollo frito. You might recognize this guy. He started KFC, Pollo Kentucky. His name is Colonel Sanders. Colonel. Number 15, so, coser. This is an easy one once you know it. It's not pronounced su, but so. So. He taught me how to sew. I sewed a button on my shirt. Number 16, choir. Our final word where the spelling makes no sense is this word, which for some reason is pronounced choir. Choir. Choir means coro. We actually have two words for coro, choir and chorus. They're basically the same. Both are a group of people singing, but choir is often used in religious settings, like a church choir. Okay, on to our final and my favorite section, words that are hard for Spanish native speakers. We start with number 17, statistics. A lot of the hardest words to pronounce in English are ones that are similar to Spanish, but that have these small differences. This word is a perfect example. In Spanish, it's estadística, and most Spanish native speakers, even very advanced ones, say estadístics. There are two mistakes here. One, it starts with just S. We don't put E at the front. Statistics, not estatistics, but statistics. Number two, the T in the middle makes a T sound, not a D sound. Tis, with a puff of air. Start with that tis and build up to the whole word. Tis, tistics, statistics, statistics. Perfect. Number 18. So far, every mistake has been about the sounds, but sometimes stressing the wrong syllable can cause you to be misunderstood. Like in Spanish, perdida and perdida are not the same. So instead of dehydrated, many Spanish speakers say dehydrated. This is another case where the English word is very similar to Spanish, but just a little bit different. Let's look at the English and Spanish together. Dehydrated, deshidratado. In Spanish, the second to last syllable is stressed, so it's a common mistake to stress that same syllable in English and say dehydrated, but saying it this way will cause you to be misunderstood. So say it with me, dehydrated. Again, let's start with the part that's hard for you and build up to the full word. Hi, hydrate, hydrated, hydrated, dehydrated. Excellent. Number 19, this word is public, not public, but public. In this word, the U makes an sound. Public. So don't round your lips, don't make that sound. Public. And try switching between Spanish and English to practice. Público, public. Público, public. Now practice these words. Publicly. Republic. Republican. Number 20, Chicago, one of America's greatest cities. So famous that you probably heard the name before you ever started learning English. In Spanish, you might have learned it as Chicago, but in English, it's Chicago. Sh. So in that first syllable, you're focusing on two things. The very first sound is sh, not ch. Chicago. And that vowel is not e. Just like public, it's sh, Chicago. Chicago. Perfect. All right, last word. Thank you for sticking with me to this point. And the last of our 21 words is hard for Spanish speakers because of the V and B sounds. Available. Available. In Spanish, both B and V are pronounced the same, but in English, the letter V always makes that V sound. And for B, the lips always touch and make a small pop. B. So it's available. Available. This video was super fun to make. I hope you learned something. If so, please like and subscribe. It really helps me stay motivated to keep making this free quality content for you. Thanks for watching.